In this video, we will examine the Focal Kanta speaker lineup. These speakers feature much of the great technology that has trickled down from their flagship speakers, giving them incredible sound and quality in a more affordable package. Let's get started. The Focal Kanta line is one of their top lines with only the Sopra and Utopia series above it. Kanta is the result of Focal's continued research and development in driver and cabinet design. Taking technology and engineering from the reference Grand Utopia and Sopra speakers, the Kanta is designed to give a large percentage of this reference level performance at a more attainable price and in a smaller package. First, I'll go over all of the features and incredible technology that is packed inside these speakers. However, some of it is a little complex, so if you're interested in what models are in the line and want some suggestions on which ones are best for you, feel free to skip ahead in the video to about here. This is where we will go into each model and tell you what we heard in our performance testing. First up, I want to talk about the Beryllium tweeter. For the first time in Focal's history, they have combined their Flax cone technology with their newest IAL3 Beryllium tweeter. Combining these two driver materials into one speaker gives you the natural bass and mid-range performance of a pulp cone driver with the detail and airiness that Beryllium tweeters are known for. The Beryllium tweeters in the Kanta series have a frequency response out to 40 kilohertz. While we surely can't hear all the way up to that frequency, having a driver that can cleanly produce these higher frequencies means that there is no breakup in the driver at the crucial music frequencies. This ultimately means that these tweeters will perform better in the frequencies that we can hear. Now, in addition, these tweeters have infinite horn loading technology, a system that allows the tweeter to work in its own separate airspace and gives the bass drivers more cabinet volume for bass production. The rear of the Beryllium tweeter is loaded via a small cavity connected to the enclosure's exterior by a horn-filled and damping material. Thus, sound waves from the rear of the tweeter are delicately and gradually absorbed. Its acoustic impedance approaches zero so that no resistance alters the movement of the dome. This pushes definition to its maximum and allows this tweeter to work without the detail-limiting back pressure and compression of the rear chamber of the driver. Beryllium is well known as one of the best materials for tweeter domes, and this technology ensures this great material can work at its very best. Moving on, Focal presented a new material for its speaker cones called Flax cones or F cones in 2013. Made from the flax plant, it has many uses in textiles and even goes into linseed oils. This material is much like paper because it is a natural material with excellent sound properties. Focal used its years of research in cone materials to develop the flax sandwich cones used in the Kanta series. While flax on its own has excellent dampening properties and is a very light material, it alone is not very rigid. So Focal's engineers took this opportunity to use sandwich cone technology from their Utopia and K2 ranges to incorporate glass fiber into the flax cones. The resulting sandwich material is rigid and light with excellent internal dampening properties. The mid-range driver incorporates a tune mass damping suspension designed to improve mid-range performance as well. Now, every Kanta speaker also incorporates a neutral inductance circuit motor, stabilizing the magnetic field for perfectly defined sound and better controlled bass. And another aspect of these high-tech cones is that they are much more affordable to produce than the handmade W and K2 cones in the reference Focal Utopia and Sopra speaker systems. Focal gets most of the performance of the W or K2 cones while keeping production costs lower, thus making the final product so much more affordable. Now, a speaker will only be as good as its enclosure allows, and Focal knows this. Incorporating a high-density polymer front baffle has the benefit of being 70% denser than MDF, 15% stiffer, and provides 25% more dampening. Using a material for the front baffle that is different than the cabinet also has the benefit of having different resonance characteristics. With these characteristics being different, there is less chance of resonance transfer, keeping overall performance much higher. Now, this one-piece molded front baffle has soft contoured edges and is made to suppress sound diffraction, which can alter the frequency response and cause distortion. With what Focal calls focus time, Focal's engineers also took engineering from their flagship Sopra and Utopia lines to shape this front baffle so that each driver's output reaches your ears simultaneously. This time alignment gives the speaker better coherency and makes the music sound more like it comes from a single point source. Kanta is the most affordable speaker in Focal's lineup that includes this technology. Now, the baffle mounts to a well-braced molded multi-ply cabinet to keep vibration minimal. This molded one-piece cabinet also features front and rear mounted ports on the Kanta No2 and No3 speakers. This dual port keeps dynamic compression in check, and with the included foam plugs, allows multiple placement options and bass tunings. Kanta No1 and the center channel speaker have a rear-mounted port only. Focal Kanta No2 and No3 speakers also feature the Zamek bass, an all-metal bass offering some great options. Zamek is an alloy made from zinc and aluminum that can keep resonances from reaching the floor while also being lighter than steel. The outriggers on the speakers work to balance the load of the speaker, adding stability, which improves mid-range detail and bass clarity and tightness. Both spikes and cups are provided for different floor situations and top-mounted height adjustments, making adjustment simple and very effective. For Kanta No1 users, Focal offers the Stand No1, a specifically made stand for the speaker that provides an adjustable height from 24 inches to 25 inches and has the same footing setup as its larger siblings in the line. This gives the speakers some continuity in the look so that if you run the No2 or No3 as your main channel speakers and choose the No1 as your rear channels, the speakers look the same all the way down to the footing. Now, Kanta speakers are offered in different finishes from high gloss black and high gloss white, as well as matte and high gloss walnut, with different color front baffles that will allow you to choose the combination that you prefer. The ability to select the cabinet finish and the front panel color gives multiple options to choose what fits your room the very best. Alright, now that we've covered all of the great engineering and technology that has went into the Kanta speakers, let's take a look at the two tower speakers, the bookshelf speaker, and the center channel speaker in this lineup. First up, the Kanta No1 is a bookshelf-sized speaker with a stand available that is an excellent option for people with rooms under around 270 square feet. It has a 6.5-inch mid-bass with a Beryllium tweeter with a frequency response of 46 Hz to 40 kHz. The sensitivity is 88 dB at 8 ohms, and the power rating is between 25 and 150 watts. This means these speakers will perform great with good solid-state or tube power. With a rear-ported enclosure, these speakers will be better placed away from the front wall in most cases. And Focal includes a set of port plugs for placement close to the wall if you do need to put them there. Also, these make great companions to the No2 and No3 speakers in a multi-channel home theater setup, where the No1 would be a great surround channel speaker. Now, the Kanta No2 and No3 are floor standing models that feature the Flax cone mid-range and Beryllium tweeter with two specially made Flax woofers in either 6.5-inch or 8-inch respectively, and will take what the No1 provides and amps it up in the bass for larger rooms. The No2 has a frequency response of 35 Hz to 40 kHz. The sensitivity of the No2 is 91 dB and has an 8 ohm rating. With a dip to 3.1 ohms, these speakers need an amplifier that is 4 ohm capable. The No3's response is 33 Hz to 40 kHz with a sensitivity of 91 dB and an 8 ohm rating. And just like the No2, the impedance dips to 3 ohms, so a 4 ohm stable amplifier is recommended. The extra cone area and bass ability will be helpful in some larger rooms where extra bass power and depth are needed. Both models will offer plugs for their ports, offering more placement options if you need them. Next is the Focal Kanta center speaker to round out the lineup to make a home theater or media room. These have the same 6.5-inch Flax mid-bass units and the I8L3 Beryllium tweeter as the stereo speakers in the line, offering the same tonal balance, which is essential in a home theater. Having a frequency response of 55 Hz to 40 kHz, dialogue and on-screen action will match that of the stereo pair, giving movies a more realistic and believable presentation. Focal also offers a stand for its center channel specifically designed to allow the speaker to perform at its best and be at the correct height under your screen. Now finally, Focal does offer its sub 1000F, which has a 16-inch Flax membrane-based speaker cone and a 1000-watt amplifier. This will be a great pairing if you're building out a home theater setup and want to have a complete match in your speakers and subwoofers. However, depending on your room, there may be other suitable subwoofer options, so we do recommend calling or chatting with our experts at audioadvice.com to see what the best subwoofer option would be for you. Plus, we do have videos on how to calibrate and set up your subwoofer, which I will link below, so be sure to check those out when you're setting up any of your subwoofers in your room. So these speakers certainly have a lot to like about them. We set up and listened to the Kanta No2s for a really long time so that we could discuss what we thought they sounded like to us. Starting with Joshua Redman's 2023 album, Where We Are, Joshua's saxophone comes alive on the Focal Kanta No2s. The mid-range had great body and tone, especially with the heartfelt vocals. Instruments had their own space, letting us hear each instrument in its full glory. Brushed cymbals had great detail while remaining smooth, giving the music the smooth vibe that this album deserves. We were incredibly impressed with the ability of the speakers to just disappear, giving us the placement of the musicians as they were during the recording. Imaging was true to life and the soundstage was wide and deep. We just loved the Flax bass and the mid-range cones as they brought a level of natural warmness to the bass and mid-range that just let the music shine. Then we moved on to Led Zeppelin's 1970 album, Led Zeppelin III. The song Celebration Day is a crank-worthy jam that will test a speaker's ability to keep composure when the volume is pushed. We played this song and knew immediately that the Kanta No2 was a rocker, giving us true-to-life dynamics. Now the song Since I've Been Loving You gave us cymbal crashes and splashes with all the dynamics and none of that edge that earlier dome tweeters could present. These speakers were able to play loud and keep their composure, allowing you to hear the details even when you crank them all the way up. Now, I know a lot of people may ask this. Why should I spend more money on the Kanta when there are great Tiva speakers that are much less expensive from Focal? Well, it starts with the drivers. The Kanta uses the IAL3 Beryllium dome tweeter. In fact, it is the least expensive speaker in Focal's lineup to use the Beryllium tweeter. Tiva uses an aluminum magnesium tweeter that is very good in its own right, but will not give you the effortless detail and naturalness found in the Kanta. The mid-range and woofer sections of the Kantas are Flax, which, compared to the slate fiber cones on the Tiva, will sound more natural with a better sense of realism. And finally, the cabinet. The cabinet of the Kanta uses a high-density polymer front baffle, which is much denser than MDF, providing more damping. The Kanta utilizes Focal's Focus Time front baffle that actually has a curved profile to top off the cabinet to better align the drivers, giving you a much more coherent sound compared to the Tiva. As good as the Tiva and other Focal models are, Kanta costs more because it takes you even closer to that real performance feeling. While the Kanta speakers are very detailed, they also offer warmth and smoothness when the music calls for it. They have excellent dynamics and micro detail, only being beaten in this regard by much larger and more expensive speaker systems. Build quality is top-notch for its class too. However, in some scenarios, we will point out that we found the reflective glass top panel a little bit distracting in some light situations, taking our attention off the sound, especially in a home theater or media room setting. We could see this presenting a little bit of an issue if you have a projector setup, so it's worth mentioning and to keep that in mind. All right, I hope that this overview has helped you get a better understanding of these great speakers from our friends at Focal. If you have more questions about them, call or chat with our team of experts at audioadvice.com. Plus, when you purchase from Audio Advice, you get free shipping, lifetime support, and a price guarantee. And if you're planning on building a home theater or media room, you have to check out our Home Theater Central at audioadvice.com, where we have all the resources you will need, including our free home theater design tool. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any of our latest content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.